What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode of TraderPrad. You know what to do. We are here to talk about the stock market for the next hour and a half or so. Find out what all the fun movers today were about. Where did they go? How did they move? Did they give us opportunities to trade off of? And are there opportunities to trade off of them tomorrow? And also all the fun movers to talk about tomorrow. Some of the earnings plays coming up. Airliners tomorrow. More airlines on play. We started off with UIL at the start of the week, almost the start of the month, at the start of the week, and we are coming to near the end of the week over here with Thursday coming up, and American Airlines and Southwest Airlines tomorrow pre-market. Couple stocks already announced earnings today after hours, something like Seagate. I have to quickly check over. That's right, Tesla. How can I forget Tesla? IBM. Even Las Vegas Sands. So we do have those stocks on the watch list today. Couple other stocks like the hot sectors, the flaming hot Cheeto sector, you know it, the chips baby, the flaming hot chip sector, also on watch with stocks like Nvidia, Tesla, absolutely soaring through the moon over there. The bears are just getting roasted. The short squeeze in the chip sector is currently in picture. Maybe not the short squeeze, obviously, but anyone who is short AMD, Nvidia, or the semiconductors is obviously getting roasted, and they have to close their position, and that's what I'm calling a little bit of a short squeeze, not like a GME type of short squeeze situation. But overall, those stocks are also on the watch list, so we got a pretty good watch list set up for tomorrow. I do have to mention that I got home a little bit early, so that means I got a lot of time to work on the watch list and so on. So today's watch list, today's stream might just end up being a little bit smaller because we don't have to spend all that time kind of typing out the notes for our watch list. All I have to do is now read my notes and tell you about what I've made up and planned for most of my most important trades. Some of the other stocks still don't have any notes yet, so we probably will have to spend a little time on that. But the idea is, creating notes, creating a base game plan for tomorrow, and seeing how the stocks trade within our game plan, seeing if they give us trade opportunities according to the plan that we made today after hours, or do we have to kind of remake a new game plan in pre-market and trade that. Obviously, if a stock is doing exactly what we want based off our after hour game plan, that's a little bit more confidence and a lot more risk to most likely be put on the table on those trades. So that's why I love doing these night streams over here exactly at 8 o'clock when the after hour ends, right? When the after hour comes to an end, take a look at that beautiful market moves and see what type of fun can we have. Looks like we hit the 3 times emoji combo with the peace signs. Let's go. I like it. Emoji combos coming in. That's the first time I think the chat's actually had an emoji combo. So shout out to you guys for unlocking that. I've never seen that show up in the chat before. So now you know a little secret hidden achievement that you guys can unlock for yourself every time you do combos of emojis. It'll show up in the chat. Let's see who else is in the chat today. Dieter, obviously, everyday Dieter shows up, the number one homie, the day one. TH, also the day one. TH saying number 5. TH, slow, you're getting slow, old man, come on. But no, TH number 5. Wow, you're getting popular. I wouldn't say that. I think my view count, which I don't take a look at, but I see at the end of the day, doesn't say that I'm getting popular at all. But I appreciate the love over there that you're trying to convey, and obviously the goal is to get popular. So let's keep on getting that like button smashes, keep on hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. The last time I checked my analytics, I think about 25% of you are not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And obviously, if you want to support me a little bit further than that, you can consider being a YouTube member or a Patreon member. Well, Bears may have their day soon, says TH. Oh, okay. I mean, you might not be wrong because Tesla might just bring the market down tomorrow. So we'll see if that's what ends up happening. And Nvidia, AMD with a monster move today. I mean, a little bit of a retracement maybe on those stocks. And obviously AMD, Nvidia, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta, all of these stocks have been making a little bit of a crazy move. Maybe some profit taking coming in. All of this could bring in some downwards action on the market tomorrow. At least that's what I'm thinking. But you know, we just have to play with whatever the market gives us. John coming in. John saying, good evening, Prad. We all know that we don't have Miss V. I know, the beautiful Miss V. But we will have to talk about Tesla. You're damn right. Josh is also in the house with the cheers emoji. What's up, Josh? If I have beer, which actually I'm thinking about quitting. I'm thinking about quitting alcohol completely. But if I had a beer, I would have cheers with you for sure. But yeah, cheers everybody. Grab your drinks, grab your popcorns, grab your notebooks, whatever it is that you do while you're watching me, and let's get the party started. This over here is a quick little brief market summary from briefing.com, basically just going to show this part of the sector for you. Overall, you know, more advancers than decliners in the New York market, more decliners than advancers in the Nasdaq market, meaning there were a lot more stocks going down, but still the market ended up 0.36% for the QQQs and 0.08% for the S&P 500. The chip sector basically still carrying these markets at the moment. Apple, Google, that's not Google, Google, Microsoft, Meta, all of these just basically carrying the markets at the moment and just catapulting to the north side after these all-time high breaks have taken place. But as you guys can see, the overall picture, however, there's a lot more stocks basically pointing to the downside than they are pointing to the upside. So as T8 says, there is a possibility that bears can kind of get their day tomorrow, or even free fall Friday. Can we see a nice little free fall Friday coming into play? Look at this QQQ market now going well above the all-time high, and a beautiful 427, 430 is the new all-time high now compared to the previous all-time high around what, 419 or so, if I remember correctly. No, what was that line? 408, 408.71, 409. So yeah, beautiful move to the north side on the QQQ market. Some profit taking expected, especially with this Tesla down move. Question mark. That's the question over there that everyone has in the market. I saw a nice meme today on Twitter. Saw a pretty good meme on Twitter today. Trend Spider. Maybe this was actually yesterday. Not today. I think I saw this. Yeah, this one right here. So the Magnificent Seven just absolutely taking off. You know, markets going off, but Tesla lagging up a little bit. Tesla staying in the lower end of the ranges. And the question was, will the jet return back, circle back, and come pick up Tesla after its earnings report today? And looks like the answer is no go. We are not coming back to the airport to pick up Tesla. And Tesla sadly continuing to push right back to the downside on that earnings report, down about 6% now. Is it 6%? What did it end at the end of the yeah, about this was about 5, so let's say 6-ish% ending on the day over here in the after hour session for Tesla earnings report. Something that I'm forgetting to put in for myself is this little marker. Let's plop in that bad boy. Earnings. Actually, maybe just move it all the way down over here to 6 o'clock. We'll do it to big volume candle. We'll move it to the big volume candle instead. That would be the smart thing to do. There you go. So Tesla did push down into this 194 area. If you zoom out over here real quick on the daily chart, you can see that little bottom at 194, pretty much right in between these two ranges, between that bottom and this bottom. It happens to be right around the previous earnings low also coming into play. So the question is, what does Tesla do? The last earnings report, we saw how Tesla played out. Didn't really push too much to the downside off the original earnings report. It did sell off later on, and then next few days it kind of launched to the upside. This earnings report, in my opinion, was not as bad as the last one. They did talk about the Cybertruck getting delayed a little bit further because of supply chain constraints, not just constraints, because of the complexity it takes for a Cybertruck. So for the supply, for the deliveries for that and the production to ramp up on that, it'll take a little bit longer compared to the other Tesla cars. They also talked about deliveries going up. Their Model Y, I believe, was the one that was the highest sold. some of the numbers for the solar side wasn't lower. Some of the overall metrics from the financials were lower, but the one thing that did go higher, which I think is the more important number, is the operating margin, which is the amount of money they're making per car being sold. Previously got shot to the downside because of all the price cuts that Tesla has been doing, but right now that margin did go up slightly, ever so slightly, compared to the last earnings report, which I think, this is just my personal opinion. No, this is just my personal opinion. What I think is that number going up is a really good catalyst and should be seen in a positive light for the stock. The stock has been in a little bit of a wedge pattern over here. As you guys can see, I drew out these lines, and now breaking that wedge pattern and going back to this double bottom, going into that previous earnings low also, which was the first red earnings report in a long time, and this is the second red earnings report. So the question is, do we hold that bottom or do we go under it? And that ends up being my main key area on watch tomorrow. Let's say 194, it does end up holding. What do I want to do around 200 to 202 today, which was the, wait, why does this say 206 to 212? No, I'm looking at today. Today's low was 20, okay, it was 206. What? Oh yeah, I have 202 over here. So what does the stock do on the hold of 194? Let's say it pops into 200 to 202 area. I want to see a little bit of a resistance come in, and then if the resistance doesn't come in around 202, the stock could easily go back into these triple bottom area, right into today's highs or today's lows around this 206.77 to 207 area. So on the pop off the 194, which I would love to be long off of, show me some buying into that 194 area, and then we can kind of start playing with that long side, move back into $200 or whatever. But the 200 starts to show some resistance. That's where you start taking some profits, maybe an opportunity to flip short. But if the stock is not showing a resistance 200, you can kind of wait to see at 202.51 or 202.50 in general. That's right around the bottom of this low over here, and then right above that is a triple bottom low where the stock is kind of ranged in for the past few days before the earnings report came out, looking to see if that area comes into play. So basically couple areas in here, and if there is more downside that's being offered on Tesla because of how much weaker it has been compared to the overall market, and for the lack of being able to be bought back up all the way into all-time highs when all their stocks are going into all-time highs, could just bring in some weak hands, some paper hands that are punching the bottoms over here and selling their position for losses, which obviously opens up a lot more room to the downside, maybe on a swing term scale all the way back into this 152 low, which is not really the 52-week low yet, but very soon will be. Very soon will be the 52-week low. So looking to see if the stock will find support at 194. If not, then on a swing term scale, we're kind of expecting 150s coming back into play, which is not so good for Tesla, obviously. All right, so that's my game plan for Tesla. The game plan for IBM, which is another stock that reported earnings today, but not near its all-time high. It's getting closer and closer. We're not there yet. Right into this 2017 high is where the stock popped into before the earnings report, and then after the earnings report, we're popping into 2014 highs, almost close to the all-time high right now that we made in 2013, and the stock hasn't come back to that price for a long time. IBM has struggled to come back to that price for a long time. So coming back to this 2017 high before the report even comes out, clearly somebody knows something and they've been buying up before the report comes out. And now that the report is out, this could also just be the markets pushing into all-time high and people are just betting on the stock, not just that somebody knows something. But I have that sinister, that tin hat always wrapped around me. I believe somebody knew something, and that's why that's why this move started to show up on IBM before the report came out, going into the 2017 highs. And the after hour move, a little bit of a spoiler alert, I did get to see the move already, and it's around these areas into this 2014 high. So the question is, what does the stock do around these 2014 highs, where the stock is basically traded for 3-4 months in a row and not able to take out this highs? If we are able to take out these highs into 190 and show support into 190 off of this earnings report today, then I don't doubt the stock going into the all-time highs. but the expectation for the stock to do that in one day is kind of ridiculous, honestly, in my opinion. IBM with an ATR of $2 popping up from 173 to 190 is already way above its ATR compared to yesterday's close. Now its intraday range, you can kind of give it a $2 range from where it opens to its high, or from where it opens to its close, or just from its high to its low. You can kind of give it $2 to $4 at best. So I'm not expecting the stock to go much higher than 190. If it does go above 190, maybe into like 192, 194, and then pulls back and shows support at 190, at which point we can then kind of build into it, not really look for the breakout of 190. But after it breaks out of 190 and pulls back, what really happens in that action? Are you still showing me buying, or is this just a fail breakout of 190 and now we're just going to flush all the way back into 180s, 175s, which is basically today's high, 175? Right? So let's go show you the 5-minute chart. There you go. There's the after hour move. Look at how the stock pops up, consolidates. Sorry, too much of Diet Pepsi coming up my stomach right now. But here's the after hour move coming in for IBM. Beautiful pop, beautiful consolidation, holds the 9 EMA perfectly all the way through, and actually able to punch above this 187.50, which was the first area that we had marked off, and that 190 area now coming into play. So in my notes, I'm basically watching how the stock behaves into 190, a little bit of a fake pop above 190 and kind of trapping those breakout traders, right? A fake pop above 190, maybe goes into 191, 192, and then starts reversing back to the downside, at which point we can look for that short, a little bit of a move back down, and then maybe flip long somewhere into 185s, 187s, or something like that, if the buying can show up. Obviously, if the stock is just wanting to range between 187.59 and 190, which is a very big possibility, then there is some sort of a scalping opportunity over there. Overall, I want to see this range coming into play in pre-market. I don't want to see the stock above 190 in pre-market. If this range comes into play in pre-market and the stock is exactly around near 190 off the open, there is a possibility to take that breakout and actually get that $4 move that we're looking for. Even though the ATR is 2, let's say a $3 move into 194, 190, 193 areas off that 190 break, and then on the pullback, if it does show some buying, maybe the stock can start going for another bigger move to the north side on that longer time scale that we're looking for, which is the all-time high area. Once again, for those of you interested, that area is 201 to 202. That's a little bit of a wide area. Obviously, once again, the stock's ATR is only $2, right? So let's put it to that high and that high. So a little bit of a range over here that I'm interested in, the all-time highs. Let's do what we usually do for ranges. Why don't we do that? So looking forward to see what this range does if IBM can punch above 190. Once again, for the bearish side, if 190, 187.59 or 187.50, let's just say that, starts to show some resistance, there could be some short opportunities back into today's high over here, about 175 area or so. But according to how the earnings played out, according to how the after hour move played out, you basically don't want to see the stock under 180. Right, this is 181.50. Let's say right there 180, right, 180.39. You basically don't want to see the stock under these two areas. If it is under 180, then it negates this whole move that it just made. Anyone who punched long in this area is most likely start going to punch out for a loss, and that move is going to bring it all the way back into somewhere into yesterday's high, maybe even all the way back into yesterday's ranges. Before we let's quickly go check what the earnings report actually is. Their earnings report looks like a decent enough of a beat over here, 3.87 reported compared to 3.79, so almost a whole 10-cent beat on EPS. 92 million beat on the revenue side over here, so pretty good beat. Let's go check out what their forecast looks like over here using our friend Benzinga. Make sure you go check out Benzinga by using the link down below in my description. IBM, bring in the Benzinga screen. There we go. Demand AI, of course. How can I forget? AI demand accelerated, and this is just one of those AI stocks that are just catching traction along with Nvidia, along with AMD, and just boosting off to the north side. So let's take a look over here quickly. 4% year-over-year increase in revenue, which beat the consensus. The company noted the adoption of AI driving the revenue strong. Software revenue was up 3% year over year. Okay, cash flow operating for the fourth year totaled at 4.5 billion, came in at 6.1 billion. The free cash flow, client demand for AI accelerating, and our book of business for Watson X and generative AI roughly doubled from the third to the fourth quarter, said Arvind Krishna, chairman and CEO of IBM. Based on the strength of our portfolio and demonstrated track record of innovation for 2024, we expect revenue performance in line with our mid-single-digit model and about 12 billion in free cash flow. So basically double their free cash flow. They have 6.1. They're expecting 12 billion coming in. Management will hold a conference call to discuss these results at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for putting that in the report over there for me, Benzinga, because that means I don't have to do the research on that stock as to what time is their earnings report. Where's my Notion for my thing? Okay, there you go. Notion. So for IBM, you basically don't want to see it below these areas. The report looks absolutely banger. The AI hype is behind it. So maybe the stock can really give us that 2 ATR move, which is 2.2 times 2, let's say 4.44. Like, give us that 4.44 move right above 190, going into that 194, 195 area, at which point we're not that far from all-time high. You feel me? You feel me? Right? So let's go see that all-time high action coming in. But don't get trapped on the break of 190. For that 190 breakout to set up perfectly, this is kind of what you want to see the stock doing in pre-market. Not really breaking 190, but testing it, tapping it, and off the open you want to see more taps, a pull down, a pullback that gets a pull down that gets bought right back up, and boom, goes the rocket ship. So that's what you're looking for over there on this position. If it's below this line over here, just wait for 180 in my opinion. I mean, 185 makes sense too, but in my opinion, just kind of see what happens at 185. If 185 doesn't hold, just wait for 180, and then you can catch that move back into this 190 area, and then later on day 2, day 3, you could look for the move into the all-time highs or whatever. But if this sets up over here, this is most likely going to take the stock into 195, pull back a little, find buying, then boom, going into all-time high. Or it can just do what SMCI did, which is just yeah, right there. Actually, no, that wasn't the day. This was the day. Right? So it could easily do what SMCI did, although IBM is a much larger cap. I think SMCI's cap is 5.13 million. Whereas, oh, no, that's not SMCI, sorry. SMCI's cap is 26 billion, whereas IBM is 158 billion. So a lot larger cap. It's going to be a lot harder for this stock to do what SMCI did, but it'll be fun to see what type of actions do show up for us on this one tomorrow. Next stock, Las Vegas Sands. This one, I'm not really too interested to trade this one tomorrow. The after hour move wasn't really that great. We just popped into this range high. The stock's ATR is $1.23. So, you know, there could be a rejection of this area, a pop above this area and holding this as support. We could think about getting long on the support of 52 if it is showing us that. But if it's not showing support at 52, possibly could get short on the reject of 52 or whatever high it creates in the zone, and then ride it back into yesterday's high, get that $1, get that $2 move or so. But overall, not really too excited unless we're at the 52 or we're under. The report was a little bit negative / in line, but the stock did make a nice little push up to the north side, right into that 52 area. Didn't really push all the way into 52, but right into 52. And obviously, if the stock does like what we were just talking about on IBM, if it starts grinding into that 52, 52, struggles to take it out a couple times, but then sets it up to take it out the third or fourth time, then we could possibly think about that breakout. But I'm not really too hyped up about trading the stock tomorrow. And the same thing kind of applies for STX, which is a weird for me to say, because I've been looking at the stock for the last few days, right? I keep pulling it up. I see the stock going higher and higher. I see it taking out the previous 52-week high, and I know its report is coming up too. And today its report comes out. It looks like a green report. They actually beat by 300% on EPS and a slight beat on revenue. The stock does nothing in the after hours. It does nothing in the after hours, barely any volume, and looks like it actually closed at 88.85, which is slightly above today's low. So it basically did not a whole lot of move. It started off with the flush first, but barely any volume, and then popped all the way back into a print happened at $91. Right? A print took place at $91, and then it kind of just chopped around, volume just dead. So not sure what STX is going to do tomorrow. Its daily range is a little bit better. It did kind of, grind up into this level and then broke out. This report's amazing too, so there is a chance for STX to really continue charging tomorrow on this good report. But how the stock played off on that good report isn't really that good. It's not that bullish. So that makes me go on the back step a little bit. It makes me want to step back and kind of just watch the stock, see what happens. Maybe it gives us a nice little gap give and go setup, something that we just recently saw on S&B Capital, right? It gaps up, comes back, shows support, maybe at yesterday's high or something. Actually, I have the perfect example for this. Let's go GE, which MC Trades Motivation wants us to currently pull it up. So let's go into GE. GE doesn't really gap give and go, but this is yesterday's earnings move. A pre-market stock flushes pretty drastically, gaps down to the south side, but later on pushes up to the north side, and this is the earnings day range. Now we have this earnings day range mapped out. If you watch the stock open, just flush, hold yesterday's low literally to the penny. Literally to the penny. You could have drawn a little bit of a trend line. Let's go to the 2-minute chart instead. You could have drawn a trend line, something like that. Waited for this buying to come in. You see that amazing big buy candle where the stock went from 120.50 right back to 127 in a span of 2 minutes. It did that once, twice, 3 times. Three 2-minute candles in a row. It goes down to 126.50 areas and then pops right back into 127, showing you that there is buying coming in. You can probably notice that on the tape if you're watching it. That's a good spot to start building into a long. But instead of, just tape reading it and getting in, use that tape read, but also look at the chart, see if there's a trend line break coming in. It is. Now the stock is starting to hold higher and higher above 126.50. We're not actually pushing into 126.50 on the next few candles. You'll start seeing a little bit of a higher hold, and after the stock holding higher and higher, it's also moving higher and higher on every other candle, showing you that the sellers who were there on the way down are seeing the buying present, and they are moving their orders higher or walking away from having that new order being filled. And whoever is taking that short in this area, the dumbass, which is me, whoever is taking short in this area, every time they're going down, they're getting happy, but they're getting scared every time it pushes back up. So those short sellers are punching out for losses. That brings in a bigger move, and then these bigger moves, this holding back above VWAP, brings in more longs, more short sellers getting burnt in this area, and hence that nice little squeeze back up. So good little hold of this move, something like this to emulate for us tomorrow on STX. I would love that, right? Gap up, or even if you do open into today's trade into today's range, kind of coming in, showing me support over here, or gapping up and pulling back and showing me support over here. I'd love to get long off of that. But right now, since the stock has done nothing today after hours, I'm going to be very patient tomorrow to see what it does in pre-market. Can it bring in volume in pre-market? It's not a stock that doesn't do a lot of volume. It's an okay volume stock, but since the price is pretty crazy, the spread opens up quite a bit. So the spread for the stock can easily go 10 to 15 cents, which Might not be a lot for a lot of people, but you know, when you're used to trading AMDs, Nvidias, Teslas with 100 million shares being traded with them, and these stocks are like, you know, $300 price stocks, and their spread is basically a penny, you get used to that gameplay, you get used to that trading style, and you need to adapt and grow and change a little bit when it comes to those higher spread stocks and so on. So STX, be a little careful. Not really a high priority stock for me right now as I'm talking about it, but if it does bring in volume tomorrow pre-market, it will go on my watch list. The next few stocks we're going to talk about, the airliners. UAL obviously announced earnings report recently. The moves were whatever, you know, it popped up, didn't really do too much. The next day was an inside day, exactly what we expected, which was today. Looking for, however, a little bit of a better setup tomorrow on American Airlines. American Airlines, right before the earnings report even came up, kind of show us its cards. We saw the game, or should I say the poker table, right? Imagine we're all sitting at the poker table. The player who's over here kind of showed us that he's selling still. He sold before, and they're still selling in this area of 1465. So after tomorrow's earnings report, what does this 1465 area looks like? Does the stock even push into that price if it has a good earnings report? Or does the stock push into that price on a bad earnings report? How does it get there? On what catalyst? How does it behave after pushing into these significant levels that we're keeping eyes on? And does it show more buying? Does it show more weakness? A lot of these questions obviously will be answered tomorrow in pre-market. Until these levels come into play, there's nothing really that we can do. So 1465 on watch, and then I'm watching this $14 area also, along with this $13 low over here, which the stock has currently shown a nice little double bottom. It's also the previous earnings anchor VWAPs. So waiting to see how this area comes into play on a negative earnings report, or even on a positive earnings report. If we flush on a positive earnings report and make a triple bottom, a beautiful long to get involved in for a little bit of a retracement back up. If it's a negative earnings report and we are still creating a triple bottom, maybe somewhat of a long scalp for a little bit of a move back into VWAP or so. Not really a beautiful move, but a little bit of a move. But if it's not really making a triple bottom on no matter what report, and it's actually going to the downside, some shorts to possibly get involved in. So a bunch of trade ideas open up on these ranges, especially if it's pushing into the higher end of the ranges or the lower end of the ranges. Don't really want to trade if the stock is stuck in the middle of the ranges. That's boring to me, and we can go mess with a bunch of other stocks out there which are doing a lot better moves for us. I mean, Nvidia making moves every single day, AMD making moves every single day. Why sit there, waste our time with American Airlines in the middle of these ranges if it's not going to do something fun for us on a day that it actually has a catalyst, right? So that's the notes over there for AAL, whose conference call is tomorrow, is at 8:30 a.m. The next one is Southwest, I almost call it Southjet. Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines, whose conference call is tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. and midday. So there's literally no reason for me to trade this stock tomorrow. I mean, it might move around in pre-market. That's when their earnings report is. It might move around intraday too. Woohoo. Don't give a shit about it, because I don't want to get trapped up in that 12:30 move. I do have an alarm set on my watch list app that I use. I use Notion. Notion, if you want to sponsor me, holla at your boy. I do have an alarm set at 12:30, maybe around 12:30, around midday. If the stock can start bringing in some extra volume around midday during algo hour, conference calls are bringing in some sort of an excitement, then I can take a look at it. But I'm not really looking to trade the stock off the open all the way going into that conference call, because I just don't want to get trapped up in it. Don't want to get trapped up. But since we talked about American Airlines and LUV, let's just quickly talk about UAL also, who previously announced earnings report on Monday. A little bit of a pop off that earnings report, but didn't really give us that move we're looking for. So still waiting for that move into $44, $44, $50 over here on UAL, at which point we can make a decision. Kind of looks like AAL, doesn't it? Double top, double bottom, but this double bottom is not really a double bottom. It's more higher high, but also a higher low coming in. A lot of indecision in this stock at the moment. So let's just stay away. Wait for it to go back here and see what happens. Wait for it to go down here and see what happens. Basically what AAL looks like. The next stock on the board, not an earnings play at all, but something that has been moving around today based on an earnings play, I guess, because they guided much lower. DuPont, the company who's known to be giving people cancer all across the world, not just all across the world, sorry, but mainly Americans. I saw this one documentary recently on YouTube. Shout out to your boy, what's his name again? Camker. Yeah, this guy. Tyler Oliveira. So I watched this documentary recently that he posted about how there's a city of just pure cancer people. They just get cancer because of all the nasty chemicals that the water has been dumped into, and DuPont is a big fault for this. I think I remember watching something on Netflix or maybe on Prime Video. I think it was more on Netflix about DuPont and their what was it? Was it neoprene or was it Teflon? About how they didn't really know what Teflon or how bad it was. They had pregnant women working on these Teflon factories, and a lot of their babies came out deformed. A lot of these women had cancer at the end of the day, and a lot of issues working with Teflon and so on. I mean, these companies are known to do such bad stuff. There's nothing we can really do about it because they are in cahoots with the politicians, and the politicians get paid to make all this happen. Not saying that they make people die on purpose, but they pass some laws, some shitty laws like polluting their waters and so on. It's all for profits at the end of the day, and people are getting rich. So it's kind of sad to see all that. But not that I'm wishing bad on DuPont shares, because someone's actually long DuPont shares. Someone with their investment fund. Grandma in her retirement house probably owns DuPont because of whatever history she has watching DuPont on her TV back in the day, and her retirement funds are going down. But it's a little bit of justice, I guess, somehow poetic justice, watching the stock flush to the downside. Overall, though, the story for the stock going to the downside right now with the monster relative volume candle. Look at that daily volume candle. You will not see a candle like that for a long time. The last time the stock brought in volume like that was in 2001, and that was 60 million shares. Wow. And before that, it was a little bit in 2017, a little bit in 2015. So big volume candle. Obviously, that's because they are guiding their earnings to be lower. A little bit of opposite of what SMCI did. SMCI came out and said, we're gonna have a banger earnings report, guys. Watch out. When we report, we don't want you to get caught off-sided. And that's what DD is doing over here. They're kind of letting their shareholders know that our report might come out bad and we might flush. So they're giving people a chance to kind of lose a little less than they probably will once the report comes out, or maybe when the report comes out, the stock has already made the move and it kind of just normalizes a little bit. All of which are just questions that we don't have answers to. The stock answers their earnings call in 7 days, so we'll just have to wait out to see how that move plays out. Overall, right now, it is making a beautiful move to the downside. We are now right between these two ranges that I'm interested in, which is a high around that 66.60, 666, 66.60, and this low around 62.80. So let's say $63 and 66.50 are kind of on watch, which was exactly today's high, 66.50, and then 63.92. So not really 63, it was $64. DuPont's ATR is $1.72, so basically $2 ATR, and it did exactly that today. It didn't really break that high or the low. It was within that $2 ATR. Let's wait to see if the stock can take out yesterday's low, push into the 63 support area and find some buying. If it can't find some buying into that beautiful daily level around $63, then possible shorts to kind of get into a little bit of a move below that. But it's also important as to how does the stock go into that 63 level. Does it just fastly go into that level? Does it go down there, grind into that level for like, let's say 30 minutes and then break past that level after 30 minutes of consolidation? That could be a short opportunity. Does it bounce into that level, or sorry, go into that level and bounce right off, and then kind of get above today's VWAP and just basically trade between these ranges, that's also an opportunity. So kind of wait and see what happens around the 63 area. Don't just take the breakout of 63. That doesn't make sense, right? Because from where the stock closed today, 64.20 to 62.80, that's basically one whole ATR. You punching that low when the stock is off the open, plummeting, going into 63, 280, $63, and looking for a bigger move than that is a little bit of craziness. Obviously, that's what I usually do, but after getting yelled at by my managers and kind of being taught not to do that, learning to understand, you know, what really to expect from stocks, learning to understand how to use ATR into my expectations, into my game planning. You know, the old me will just be, the breakout is 62.80, we're fucking going ham, baby. But now kind of understanding, you know, from where it's closed today and from where it opens tomorrow, I need to really be understanding that whole move, and then even study the move into $63 and 62.80. So me saying this out loud, kind of talking to you guys over here, is basically talking to myself, kind of basically telling me my game plan, so that way I don't deviate from it. So quickly, let's put it in my notes over here. These are the next few stocks that I don't really have notes for, so I'm gonna put it in my notes. 62.80/63 for support. That didn't go at 63. What the hell? 63 as support. 66.50/66.60 as a resistance. Inflection will be that 62.80 area, or the pop back into 66, depending on where the stock trades around. In between those ranges are no go for me. I'm just gonna, you know, sleep on the stock if it's trading in those in between those two ranges. Only looking for a trade at the R or S. If stock can go into, okay, let me put it this way: bullish above 62.80/63 if stock dives into it on open and shows buying. Bullish if stock breaks 63/62.80 but climbs right back up and shows buying. Bearish if stock pops into 66.60 and shows selling. Bearish if stock can open into 63, grind into this area for over 15 to 30 minutes, and then break under for a bigger move down. So those are the 3-4 ideas that I have on DuPont for tomorrow. So let's see what sets up. Let's see what sets up. DuPont PM, Molback, TVZ. What are you saying right now, bro? Oh, those are all tickers. MO Altria, I know that. What's PM? Philip Morris? Yeah, Philip Morris. What's BAT? Batman? Oh, damn. The stock's going Batman mode for sure. TNVZ. Oh, pretty sure this is not the right ticker, am I? I'm not looking at the right ticker for sure. Oh, this is ASX. Let's go to New York. British American Tobacco. BTI. NVZ are all old school dividend stocks recommended for widows by corrupt stockbrokers. TH got jokes, yo. I love it. TH got jokes. Okay. TNVZ reported earnings recently. If you guys are keeping track of that, Verizon made a pretty good pop into these highs, but struggling to get above these highs at the moment. Maybe we had Verizon slightly under the next stock that we have for our watch list coming up over here, which is AT&T. So let me just quickly add Verizon over here because I do like that level that Verizon's at. Let's look at the ATR for Verizon, 88 cents, 0.88, some sort of a day 3, day 2 play maybe. When was earnings again? So yeah, day 1, day 2, maybe some sort of a day 3 play over here for us to look for a move back into 42.50, 43. But overall, I'm just gonna wait for that highs to come into play for possibly give me a chance to short. So what is that opportunity? Around 42.50 is the level that I'm watching for. So I'll just put in 42.50 over here for Verizon. AT&T, as I just mentioned, the next stock on watch, 17.50 is the resistance, and support for me will be that 16.20 area. Let's say $16 to 16.20 area will be my support. Now that these two stocks are not really much importance for me, I'm not going to really put too much notes on them, just kind of tracking what levels might be important for me, and when they do show up I can kind of be like, ah, okay, that's in play, and then maybe we can make a decision then. Next stock, however, is very much in play. I just don't know what I want to do with it or how I want to play it. That's a little bit of a thing that happens with me when stock makes a crazy move off of its earnings, basically like what Netflix did. Stocks like Tesla, when they move within expected ranges or previous ranges, are obviously much easier to trade off of, but stocks like Netflix, I kind of just lose it. I don't know what to do. I did put in this high just not before going live. That high was also off of an earnings report, and as you guys can see, the next few earnings report, we kind of struggle with that high. We're not able to take out that high for the next few straight earnings reports over here right around COVID, and then next good earnings reports we pop up and then we sell the crap down. This is where poor not Ben Affleck, what's his name, not Ben Affleck, Ben Ackman got absolutely destroyed, closed his position for a loss, and oh, my recovery. Very, very upsetting for himself, obviously. Not really making fun of him. That's not really amazing when people are losing money. It hurts. I know the feeling very damn well. So, kind of just understanding what happened over here on Netflix. Why that big move played out so drastically is because a big buyer who was holding the stock for against them quite a bit ended up taking a big loss on that position, and that's why you're seeing everyone who followed him kind of close that position and give that big drop. At the end of the day, Netflix, beautiful recovery. They didn't really have a banger earnings report, right? But what they did have is a banger subscription count growth, and they also have a new partnership with TKO, WWE Monday Night Raws will be streamed on Netflix live for those of you who are interested in fake wrestling and fake MMA bullshit. But if you are interested in that, you can watch it on Netflix live, which will bring in a lot of new subscribers for them. And in return, when these new subscribers who previously haven't used Netflix for anything, but are now understanding the Netflix ecosystem, they came in for the Monday Night Live, but they are getting used to the Netflix ecosystem. They might go around and tell their other friends who never tried it before too. I know it's weird to think that people haven't tried Netflix or don't know about Netflix, but there is an opportunity, and those are all new customers that Netflix has now acquired through a partnership and a nice little deal of a way to enter into this live entertainment. So beautiful deal. I think the record growth that they had recently will easily get topped out with this new deal that they have, because Raw actually has surprisingly still, or WWE should I say, surprisingly still has a large following. So I don't doubt that Netflix it's getting ready for a charge here back into all-time highs on a swing term scale. But for that, we need to take out this monster level of 575, which we kind of got close to, 562 today. But 575 is that Netflix level that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are watching as to what the stock can do if we do push into that area. And anything above that obviously is more fun. 600, 700, which is actually the all-time high, 701. Next stock over here that I have, 3M. This one is more, day 2, day 3 play. I think it actually is day 4 play. Let me be honest. No, day 3 play. We did get strongly under yesterday's low, which is pretty bearish, obviously. So maybe there's more opportunities to continue this trade to the downside. Any sort of pullbacks that shows me weakness, we can kind of grind into it. I thought 3M would actually have an inside day. So the fact that the stock brought in a good amount of volume and still flushed to the downside the way it did shows me that there's still organic selling. There could be a beautiful chance for a swing term scale all the way back into these lows of the 1 year chart, which is around $85. So watch out for that drop if you are currently long on the stock. But the stock could also maybe find support into 92 and create what might be an inverse head and shoulders on the daily chart. A little bit of a left shoulder, a little bit of a right shoulder if it starts curling back up, and that would be an inverse head and shoulder, which I think is bullish. Right? Left shoulder, right shoulder, head, breakout to the upside. Basically a bullish pattern all the way back to the north side. The report wasn't really that bad, but MMM has been struggling for quite some time now with the court cases, military stuff that they recently screwed up, and a bunch of other stuff over there. So watch out for MMM. Any sort of a pullback to maybe get short into, I would love it. Stock could also easily find support into 92, so watch out for that. Not really too hyped for trading MMM tomorrow. I am, however, hyped trading a bunch of other stocks. AMD, Nvidia, TSM, all of these stocks, I mean, what can I say? Just all-time highs after all-time highs after all-time highs. Unstoppable. Nvidia with the $14.89 move today, slightly short off of 1 ATR, almost 1 ATR move. 1 ATR on Nvidia is apparently $16.28. So we got almost 1 ATR move on Nvidia. What did AMD do today? 987, whereas AMD's ATR is 694. So AMD being the bull here, and TSM I think also brought in a good move. 239, and its ATR is actually 283. So 1 ATR move on TSM. The overall idea is we are getting breakouts one more time. TSM not really into its all-time high, but another new 52-week high coming in. It's Nvidia and AMD that are continuing to make its all-time high. Meta going into this 400 area now. Like, what are we talking about over here, right? Meta at all-time highs. Microsoft, which has been the sole leader in the Mag 7, I think. If you kind of ignore Nvidia, it's been the sole leader in the Mag 7. So congratulations to Microsoft overall. Google also making beautiful moves. The basic idea here is QQQ has been monstrous. QQQ has been monstrous. I saw a little post, I guess a post from what's his name, Jim Cramer. He was talking about how the stock market could possibly be right in that zone where before where we were before the banking crisis, and right before interest rate cuts. So right around that period, but like right after COVID, where tech stocks were just taking off, right? Tech stocks were booming. And right now we're kind of in that same zone. At least that was his observation. And I kind of have to say, usually I can't agree with Jim Cramer over there, but I kind of understood what he was saying, and I had to agree with what he had to say too, right? We are seeing a lot of tech boom at the moment. The AI boom just unstoppable. Everyone thought that the AI bubble bursted for a little bit when the move stopped. But NAPA goes Nvidia and AMD. So the AI bubble has yet to be bursted, and maybe the bubble has yet to be created. Who said that? I think TraderPrad called it at one point, but who's TraderPrad anyways, right? Now, overall, the idea is like, you can't call this AI basket a bubble when you haven't even seen AI get tapped into, right? We are just at the start of starting AI. This is if you believe in the evolution theory, which I think is what Darwin's theory, whoever it is, if you believe in the evolution theory, the chimpanzees kind of going and growing and evolving, or if you even believe in the, I forget whose theory this is, maybe McKenna's theory, Terence McKenna's theory, the stoned ape theory. You know, we were all apes one day, and then eventually an ape got stoned by eating mushrooms, and their brains started expanding. They started experimenting more. They started learning more and growing off of that. That's a stoned ape theory. That's exactly where AI is right now, right? Rogan talks about Joe Rogan. He talks about how he thinks AI has gained consciousness and is able to create thoughts and think for itself. I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong by thinking that. But we are still at the very start of the real matrix here. We're just getting started, and for that, you can't say the bubble has been popped. The bubble has not even. You're right now unwrapping the bubble gum. You haven't even unwrapped the bubble gum from the wrapper, nor have you chewed it enough to be able to blow out the bubble. Then comes the bubble being burst. So still a lot of a step over here for AI to get into that bubble conversations, in my opinion. But the only thing that matters is the market. How does the market move? How does the market react to these news catalysts, like Meta spending billions of dollars on NVIDIA cards, or any other catalyst according to technology sectors and the AI sector? Are there buyers there? Are there sellers there? If they are, where are they? And how aggressive are they in their action? How confident are they in their action, right? So we want to see all that type of action play out. Let's quickly head back over here to the QQQ, show you guys where we are right now. A nice little all-time high of QQQ coming in around 430. S&P 500 also all-time highs right now. The new all-time high around 487. Let's say 489, 490. IWM still a little struggly, but at least moving back into that 200 area. Once we do get back above the 200, we still have a little bit of a wall at 205, and then we can see if more fun opens up on IWM. Today we did have a 945 a market catalyst that helped the market out a little bit, right? We were waiting to see if this one was going to crash the market or help the market out. Market was already green on the day, and then this one just kind of gave that market that extra little boost that it needed. Later on though, Tesla kind of screwed everything up and just brought the market back down towards the low of day, and that's why the market was not up as much as we thought it would be. However, Tesla didn't really report at that moment, but I think somebody knew at this moment. Somebody knew at this moment, because who stopped that train? If the 940 train didn't stop, why did that train stop over here, right? So I'm wondering if somebody knew something about Tesla and started loading up on their shorts a little bit early. Overall, I think Tesla is going to be the one that breaks the market tomorrow, sadly. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I think tomorrow market breaks on Tesla. I don't want you guys to use this as a reason to start looking for shorts. You know, do your own due diligence, create your own risks, understand what you're risking, only risk what you can lose. And good luck in the market. Always make sure to put the right amount, or always make sure to use risk management, and make sure you have a setup, make sure you have a hedge, all that cool stuff, fun stuff that everyone says on the internet when it comes to trading. Make sure you follow a plan. Just make sure you follow a plan. If you don't have a plan, there's no trade. If you don't have a system, you need to make a system before you even start trading, which means go start playbooking and start making some good playbooks. Talking about playbooking trades, maybe it's time to start talking about the next segment over here, because we don't really have a video to talk about today. So let's talk about some of the trades that our good friend Dieter, if you're still in the chat, another shout out to Dieter today, ladies and gentlemen, because he is absolutely on fire right now with these Bella scalps. So he caught a couple good trades today. Maybe I should say 2 or 3. I forget how many. I only have 2 open at the moment from him. But he had a couple good trades today. Awesome trades. Starting with Intel. Intel, the opening was straight to the downside. Eventually, the stock holds one of his moving averages. It breaks the trend line first, and then starts showing buying above his moving averages, he gets long with the stop maybe a little bit under the break of that trend, or even maybe all the way back at low a day, right? A stop right at the, maybe even low at this candle over here, which is basically low a day. You're increasing your probability, if your probability of winning on the trade, if your stop is here. You're not really saving that much money by getting stopped out on the break of this candle. However, if you're getting stopped out on the break of that trend, which is, I think, viable, right? On the break of that trend and on the failure to continue holding your moving average, on the, which looked like it was holding. You got long on the could be a volume pop. I don't really see the volume charts over here, but could be a nice little volume pop off that candle. We can just go check on ourselves. Is a 5-minute chart? This is a 5-minute chart that was right around 10 o'clock. Right around here. So yeah, not really a big volume pop, but nice little pop that came in, allowed you to build into that long. Looks like a breakout of these two candles too. That's also a nice little setup right there. The 2-candle breakout setup, right? The 2-bar candle where the last 2 candles high was the exact same, and then it breaks the high. We saw that in the SMB Capital videos too. So nice little entry. I love the entry. I love the patience. I love the reason to enter. You're not just simply taking the Bella scalp to take the Bella scalp. You're using other reasons and actually waiting to see buying comes in. Once that buying comes in, you drew in another trend line, and now this trend line could be where your stop is. We just talked about it. The trend now got steeper. You drew another trend line. After this trend got steeper, you could have got out over here, but looks like you waited to see if the stock would hold the 29 EMA. It is holding the 29 EMA. You see it going down, gets bought right back up. Going down, gets bought right back up. Going down, gets bought right back up. Beautiful. Love it. And then another big move to the north side, right back into today's high and a little bit above today's high, slightly above where today's open / today's pre-market areas over here was, and then breaks that trend line. Kind of also the ding, dinner's ready move. Your stop trigger, you're out of the money. Look at that risk to reward play at the end of the day. Gotta love it. Dieter has been killing it with these trades. Shout out to Dieter. Oh my god, guys, I kind of got scared. I just looked over and I thought I didn't hit go live today. That would have been scary. But then if I didn't hit go live, I wouldn't have been able to talk to you guys this whole time. I'm stupid. All right, but anyways, Intel, beautiful long. But when it comes to Intel, Dieter, I want to say, why Intel? What was the reason to look at Intel today, right? In my opinion, Intel probably didn't have enough of a catalyst other than other semiconductors moving around. Maybe you were looking at Intel because other semiconductors were moving around, but if that's the case, why not just go look at AMD or Nvidia, which are at all-time highs, which are breaking out and are way stronger than Intel, clearly, right? So that's what I think about when it comes to your trade on Intel. Let's quickly go check if Intel actually was in play by seeing if the stock brings in more relative volume than usual. About the volume that it brought in yesterday, not the same amount of volume, less than the same amount of volume it brought in the day before, about the same volume. See? So it's not really in play. The stock was in play here. This stock was in play on this day. Look how much relative volume it brought off the open. Not really in play today, other than the fact that the semiconductors are moving around. Intel also, if you look on the daily chart, I mean, yeah, that's a little bit of a breakout, but look how choppy off that breakout is, right? It came right back under that range today. Didn't really show buying. If I was looking for a trade, I would have probably been waiting to see if the stock would, I guess that's what you did. I guess that's exactly where you kind of got long, above that 48.76 area with the stop around thing. Yeah, okay, it's not that bad of a trade. It's not a bad trade at all. It's more of a why even look at Intel? Why even look at Intel? However, you did do the right thing and trade DD, right? we were talking to each other. We talked about DD. You caught the long. The trend broke. You built into the position. Beautiful hold on all the way back into the day's high, where you saw probably the resistance coming in on the daily chart. If you didn't have that trend line or the horizontal line on the daily chart, you might be making a mistake over there. You know, kind of start from the longer term charts and then go down. Start off on the yearly charts. Start looking for what areas of interest could be, where stocks could be, you know, good areas to make decisions. So for me, I recognize this double bottom on the daily chart is exactly where today's high was, and this little area of consolidation before we started making that breakout where the stock has yet to go into. So having a line there, and then if you pull up and actually see the stock trading within that box, you can kind of start making that trade. So for Intel, if you had that line there, that would have given you even more of a reason to maybe smash that trade, especially if you look at you know, how it holds VWAP back through that same line. Some people might try the long over here, get burnt, and then punch the lows because they feel like the stock is going against them. This is basically the right side of the V. You punch over here with the stop there, or you punch over here with the long, or sorry, with the stop at the low of this candle. You can even take the breakout back through this area with the stop at the low of these candles, and look at that beautiful risk to reward you get out of it. That's basically what you did, but what you did was a little bit more technical instead of subjective, because these trend lines or whatever are a little subjective, right? What are the chances that a buyer at the previous high comes back in? What are the chances that a seller at a previous high comes back in? Those are all subjective. We are just identifying that they were there previously. We don't know if anyone else is going to make a decision off of that. So this one, I guess you could say the same thing about the 5-day moving average too. It's not really a guaranteed indicator that people are going to make decisions off of, but when it goes into that level, it makes you, or it gives you a reason to keep an eye on it and make some decisions if it does fit into your patterns. You pull the right triggers, you made the call. Beautiful trade at the end of the day on both of them, Dieter. Shout out to your main man over there, DYDR. Woohoo! Earnings for Intel tomorrow. Intel announces earnings tomorrow after hours, so we'll talk about it tomorrow after hours. There's no reason to talk about Intel at the moment. It doesn't report at all, so we talked about basically the stocks from here and here, these two columns. We'll talk about these two columns tomorrow. Quickly going back into this conversation, which is how does the economic calendar look like tomorrow? It's a little busy. We got a lot of stuff going on at 8:30, a little bit of stuff going on at 10 o'clock, and then more stuff coming in at 11 o'clock. So tomorrow's economic calendar is a little bit busier than what we have seen all of this week. Monday, nothing. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday a little bit, but Thursday it's a lot more active, especially at 8:30. A lot of key economic points that the Fed are going to be looking at to be understanding if we need to cut hikes or if we need to hold interest rates hikes, if we need to cut interest rates or hold interest rates longer at this higher rates, or do we need to start hiking rates again? Right? So all those questions will be answered eventually after these numbers start coming out tomorrow, 8:30. So watch out for those market moving around at that time. We haven't really seen anything mentioned on the IPO calendar recently, but something that has been floating around is a rumor about Reddit, about Reddit getting ready to go public again. They were kind of getting ready to go public not too long ago, but that died down. I can't wait to see if that rumor is actually going to catch some traction. This one catches my eye right off the bat. When are you IPOing? 26th of January. Okay, we can wait for you. That looks like fun. Now, everything else other than that looks pretty boring. Oncology, CG Oncology, 17 million shares being offered to the market, 351 million offer amount. Not the biggest, but it's a pretty small amount. This one and this one are huge. Biolingus, SUBL, and BTSG Bright Spring Health Services, both of which are going public on the 26th of January and on the 31st of January. I'm actually glad that I kind of checked this website because we could have easily missed these two IPOs coming up. It looks like a pretty hot IPO going into the end of the year, so we'll be patiently waiting to see how those ones, what trading opportunities those set up with. I think pretty much talked about everything that I wanted to. You see the watch list over here. We got a watch list going. Some stocks that I'm interested in for the higher importance. Some stocks that I'm interested in with the lower importance. Obviously, if you want to sign up for this watch list that gets sent out to you every day, you can do so by supporting to me on Patreon or on YouTube. And if you also want to hit the like and subscribe button because you think I did a great job today, I would love that. So feel free to go ahead and hit all that like and subscribe stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, as I did mention at the start of the stream, sadly, don't really have much else to do today on the stream, so nice little short 1 hour stream. I also have a little bit of a headache. I think it's because I'm vaping too much of this, whatever vape this is, and not drinking enough water. So I have a little bit of a migraine. I have a little bit of a headache. So I'm going to take some rest. That's a lie. I'm going to probably go watch some TV, but I'm going to go take some rest. Maybe take some Advil or something for that headache. I will see you guys tomorrow for the last stream of the week. So have a great day. Have a great night. Well, I guess day depending on where you are. Maybe you're from Mongolia like Lucas. That was a lie. Lucas yesterday came into our chat and he said he's from Mongolia. He's not from Mongolia. It's actually one of my buddies I play video games with. So that was funny. But no, wherever you are in the world, keep on rocking. Have a great day, night, morning, evening, afternoon, brunch, lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever it is. I will see you guys tomorrow at same time, same place, 8 o'clock. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, bye. Or do I usually I say ciao? Ciao.